Hi, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, where today I'm going to try and do two videos for you. We have a few long-time supporters of the channel who really enjoy the crossword content, and I know that we've been a bit remiss in covering cryptic crosswords, certainly UK cryptic crosswords over the last week or two. The principal reason, actually, apart from time, is that I tend to keep an eye on something called the snitch rating for the Times crossword, which gives us an idea of how hard the puzzle is, and it's been very easy on average for quite a while. So today is the first day where I've seen it spike up well above 100. It's 130 today, which means that it should be a real challenge. So without further ado, let's look at it. And just for those of you who are more interested in the other types of puzzles, there should be a video later for you guys too. Right, here we go. In time, gastarbeiters, a household name. Okay, well, luckily, because I have no idea what that word means, I don't have to know what this means. The word in here is enough, because if I look inside the words time and gastarbeiter, you can see spelt out there the word megastar. So that must be the answer. It's obviously a household name. Two down. Monsieur did fish and so did butcher. Okay, well, Monsieur is M. If you did fish, you angled. Put M with angled, we get mangled. And if you butchered something, obviously you mangle it. Let's try this one. Raving intolerantly to a sponsor of good causes. Well, the word raving here makes me think of an anagram, but yeah, intolerantly to an A is 15 letters. So sponsor of good causes beginning with N. National something. National lottery. It's good. And if any time you get an answer that long, obviously it's going to help. So two down. Acquired grand place for Ruth and Samuel. Okay, well, acquired is the definition here. Always look at the start or the end of a cryptic clue to find the definition. The challenge really is spotting the definition. Here it is acquired, so got is going to be the answer. We then have to work out why. Well, grand can be abbreviated to G. And then a place for Ruth and Samuel for OT. Well, that's the Old Testament. That's where you find the books Ruth and Samuel. Let's look at three down. After interference, fail in move to stop slide. Interference. Fail in move to stop slide. I don't know what that is. Expect answers when buttonholing head of intelligence. Well, I don't know the answer to this yet, but in terms of this whole conundrum about how we spot which side of the clue, whether it's the start or the end of the clue, is the definition. Always be looking for instructional words, because instructional words tend to be part of wordplay. And here, head of intelligence. Well, that makes me think of the letter I, the head letter of the word intelligence. So that suggests the other side of the clue is going to be the definition. So expect or expect answers. Await would fit. Let's put that in and see if we can justify why. It's got an I in it. Answers can be abbreviated to A. Answers when. Buttonholing. Gosh, okay, well, I was totally wrong about this, I think. I think the way this works is answers is saying take two abbreviations for the word answer. Now, as A can be an abbreviation for the word answer, that suggests we need two A's. And you can see we've got an A here and an A here. And when buttonholing head of intelligence, well, I think what this is saying is that intelligence is a word for wit. And the head of the word wit is this W. So you've got the two A's for answers buttonholing, which I guess is, I don't know quite how buttonholing is working there, interrupting in some way, delaying or waylaying the word, or the start of the word wit. So very awkward wordplay. I'm not entirely sure I've properly explained it to you, but I think it's going to be right. Let's try that one. Nothing sailor can do ultimately stops preparation for it. Nothing might be love, as in a love score in tennis is if you have nothing. Love, actually, no, love, don't know. Let's try that one. Didn't manage everything, finishing early, delivery. If you didn't manage everything, you would only run some of something. So you would ran some with an E on the end. Oops. So if ran some, S-O-M-E, finishes early, we just get ran some, and ransom is delivery. So that's going to be the answer, I think. Maybe old Bill's John's successor. I think this is another biblical reference. John's successor, the next book after John in the Bible, is Acts, and bills, the way they pass through Parliament is you propose a bill, and then once it gets passed into law it becomes an act. So that's why maybe old bills, because not all bills become acts of Parliament, some of them get debated and dropped. So I think that's how that clue works. Quite clever actually, because old bill obviously is very suggestive of a policeman, the old bill, and deliberately misleading. Be as one, initially scared by series of echoes, then kick yourself. Well, it must begin C, probably. C-I to I. That's to be as one. Now Y. Initially scared is S. A series of echoes. Well, echo is the international sort of radio word for E. And a series of E's, you can see E, E, E. Then you, or ye can be, ye is an old word for you. Kick yourself. Toe, and then ye again. So ye, toe, ye is the end of that. It's very clever. Yeah, I like that. Right, go immediately after this long-range spring forecast. Now this is a very clever clue as well. Go immediately after this. You have to be thinking of your board games here, and in the board game Monopoly, just before the square go is the square Mayfair. So if you're playing the English edition anyway, goodness knows if you're watching this from another country what you have just before the square go, I don't know. And obviously a long-range spring forecast will be that the month of May will be fair, Mayfair. Very clever. Girl who's got people gunning for me. Okay, well this is a girl's name. People gunning. Unfortunately, clues like this, they must seem incredibly difficult to newcomers to the Times crossword, because you have to know about 20 different abbreviations for different parts of the army. And here we need the Royal Artillery. They are people who gun, RA. People who gun for me would be my Royal Artillery, and Myra is a girl's name. So I think that's how that's breaking down. Not easy at all. Well, it's one of these funny clues. It's very easy if you have a little bit of experience. Absolutely impossible if you don't. Line in cookery books maybe was intensely illuminating. That's brilliant. Okay, well, I got this from the definition, which I thought might be was intensely illuminating, or intensely illuminating, and I think the answer therefore is floodlit. But look at how this works. Lovely. So we've got line, which is can be abbreviated to L, and that's this L here. In cookery books, well, cookery books are food lit, as in food literature. So very nice indeed, and that gives us floodlit. Let's look at this one. Surgeon grabs tip of nice, or tip of nice. If it was niece as in French niece, it would need a capital here because it's in the middle of the sentence. You can't just muck around with capitalization in the middle of sentences. Surgeon grabs tip of nice long pointed object. Surgeon. Well, I think this is Lister, who was a surgeon. Was he famous for antiseptic? So I think this is the word Leicester, like that. That rings the vaguest of bells. Long-pointed object. I think it's some type of spear. Leicester. I'm prepared that this might be wrong, so we might have to worry about this I here. So let's check this clue, in fact. Musical variable one about Perth Hospital area nurses. Musical variable one about Perth Hospital area nurses. Well, okay, I think I've got it. I thought of a musical that fits. Let's put the musical in. I thought of Wizard of Oz, that fits. And I can see a Z there, which is good for a variable. A mathematical variable tends to be X, Y, or Z. Z, depending on your preference. So how does this work? Right, it's very clever. Okay. So the variable is actually this variable. One about. Variable one about. Good Lord. Okay. So variable is this Z. One is this I. And these are being reversed. They are about. And they are being nursed, as in carried, tended, by Ward of Oz, which is a Perth hospital area. So, if you were in the city of Perth, you might describe your in hospital there. You might be in a Ward of Oz. So very convoluted but clever wordplay there. Goodness, and difficult. So this one we should be able to get because we've got so many letters. So it's going to be something like trade in, isn't it? Buy bigger piano as addition to jazz and country club. Trade up. So trad is a type of jazz. A country club here is the EU, which is very clever. And then P for piano. And if you buy bigger, you trade up. Very nice. Coat with a small amount of white spirit, question mark. Phantom? Don't understand why it would be that, apart from obviously it's a type of spirit. Let's try that one, I haven't looked at that one. Tries in the front row for Australian pack. What a brilliant surface this clue has. That is a brilliant surface, because it's so, the whole thing is about rugby, and I bet the answer isn't. Oh, this is a superb clue. Yeah, okay, well, in Australia, you might get a pack of dingoes, wild dogs. How does this work? Well, tries are goes, and in the front, i.e. ahead of the word goes, not row, but row, and a row is a din. So din goes, an Australian pack. That is a beautiful clue. One of my favourite clues of recent weeks. Lovely. Let's try this one. Stash stuff in cellar above a street. Stowaway. I suppose that is above a street. A street could be away, so I like away at the bottom here. Stowaway. Why is that stuff in a cellar? Stuff in a cellar. We give an O here. 18 across. This used to set rally off on travels. Again, very clever clue in the sense that, it reads very naturally. It seems to be about Walter Raleigh. Don't know it. Let's try 12 down. Vintage right involved sharp dressing. Okay, well, this is the easiest clue so far. The word involve, if you see that in a crossword clue, it very often indicates an anagram. So you can see here vintage right is 11 letters. We need a word that means a sharp dressing, not in terms of how you might clothe yourself, but what you might put on a salad. And the answer, I think, is going to be vinaigrette. A word I always misspell, but I think it's like that. So this is love something. Nothing, love. Sailor can do ultimately, stops preparation for it. Nothing sailor can do ultimately, stops preparation for it. It's good surface. Okay. Love potion. Ah, yes, it is. Yes, it is potion. Very tricky wordplay. Let me explain. So nothing is love. A sailor is a petty officer, PO. The other abbreviations you see for sailor tend to be AB for able seaman, sometimes TAR, TAR, sometimes Jack, sometimes easy as in a midshipman. So there's lots of little words for sailors you see here. We've got petty officer, the abbreviation. So PO, can is the word tin, as in a tin can, and do ultimately is saying take the ultimate letter of the word do. That's an O, and the O is stopping, as in it is inside the word tin. So we've got TION at the end, love potion. And then preparation for it is brilliant. That's a brilliant definition, because it is sometimes can be referred to as sex, or sex appeal. So a preparation for it would be a love potion. Brilliant. So it, I think, if you do it, you have sex. I think that's what that's getting at. So 3 down. After interference, fail in move to stop slide. After interference, fail in move to stop slide. Don't know. Should be able to get that. Oh, this is the rally one. Don't know that. Welcome athletic achievement by one showing a bit of leg. Another beautiful surface. Don't know what the answer is. Let's try that one then. Wife who survived a year with Bishop. Brilliant clue again. Wife who survived a year with Bishop. Well, I sort of read that correctly. Wife who survived. If you know your British history, the wife who survived was Catherine Parr. A year is per annum, PA. A bishop is a right reverend. So sometimes you see B for bishop from the chess notation. RR is another very common abbreviation. So Parr there is the answer. Pressure put on US Mobile Psychiatric Unit Facility. It's another superb surface. Padded cell. So, okay, that is the answer there. It's another very clever clue. Let's talk about it. So, pressure, that can be P, obviously from physics. And then we've got US put on is added. If you put on something, you add it. So, put on in the past sense, added. And a US mobile, in the US, they call mobile phones cell phones. So we've got padded cell here, obviously a psychiatric unit facility. Let's try that one with a D. Depart stern and miserable. Well, the only hard thing about this clue is knowing that D can be an abbreviation for the word departs. I'm not actually sure. I think that must come from sort of railway timetables or something like that, but it is valid. And then stern is the rear. Put D plus rear, we get drear, which is a word that means miserable. Oh, we've got a long one here. Perversely went for another ending to latest film. Another very clever surface, isn't it? Perversely went for another ending to latest film. Okay, right, I think I've got this from the checking letters. I think this is the name of a film. And the only one I can think of that fits is On the Waterfront. Now, I suspect that this is an anagram of went for another plus T. the ending to the word latest. You can see that's going to be this T here. Went for another, yes. So went for another is 14 letters, so that's what we need. So on the waterfront here, with perversely telling us that we need to anagram the letters. Trying to spot the one that's going to give us this one now. Looks doable. Coat with a small amount of white spirit. Ah, okay. Now, I never know how to spell this word, but I think the word is pale tot or palette tot or something like that. Now, this is a word I know only from crosswords, but it is a type of coat. How does it work? A small amount of white spirit would be a pale tot. A tot is in a sort of dram that you might have a tot of whiskey or something like that. So pale tot, I think, is the answer there, or palatot, or however it's pronounced. Now this one must be craziest. That's going to fit. Most idiotic. Well, that looks good, doesn't it? Let's put it in and see if we can justify it. Time to take short bow on reflection, or short bow on reflection. Time, that's going to be this T. To take is to seize, S-E-I-Z-E, but the word take is short, so we shorten, we get rid of the E and we add arc, which is obviously a bow. So T, seize shortened, plus arc, all reversed, craziest. Very nice indeed. Now what's this going to be? I might be carried off when picked up. Well, okay, this isn't too difficult if you realise that the words picked up here are indicating a homophone. So if you pick something up, you hear it. So what it's saying is that we need a word that means carried off. If you carry off something, you win it. So in the past tense, won, W-O-N. A homophone for W-O-N would be one spelt like this, which of course I. You might say I did something, one did something. So I think that's going to be how that one works out. Algae from half of lake unexplored up in the middle. Well, a little tip here. We had megastar at 1 across, and that was a hidden clue. Now in the Times crossword, there's only allowed to be one hidden clue. So here, one of the first thoughts I had was half of lake unexplored up in the middle. I was thinking I might have to reverse the internal letters of the words lake unexplored somehow, and read them in order to get a word that means algae. But that can't be right unless there's been a mistake in the editing, because megastar has already been our hidden. So I don't know what that one is. Partner once. Okay, well look, I've just read the first two clues here. Partner once. That's always indicating an X. Your X is your old partner. So I'm pretty sure the X is either going to be here or this. I suppose it might have X in the middle. Partner once, having had a vacation cut short, is free. Okay, exempt is the answer. Something is free, it's exempt. If you've had a vacation, you're empty, and that's cut short. So X plus empt is how the wordplay works here. And this one, therefore, is going to be kelp. Oh, kelp, yeah. So half of lake is K-E, second half of the word lake. Unexplored up in the middle. If we take the middle two letters of the word unexplored and reverse them, send them upwards. Now up can be a reversal indicator only in a down clue. Another thing that's very important to remember. So, but we can, this is a down clue, so up can be a reversal indicator and we get kelp. That's going to be right. Okay, so this one. Welcome athletic achievement by one showing a bit of leg. Ah, that's a brilliant clue. Okay, so welcome is a hi. You might say hi and welcome to somebody. An athletic achievement is a personal best or a PB. And then one is just plain. Put the word one in, or put it all together, we get hip bone, which is a part of the leg. So very nice. So what's this then? This used to set rally off on travels. I think it's an anagram of the word rally. I think it's hair gel. This used to set. Hair gel would be used to set, and it's an anagram of the word rally. So I think this is quite tricky actually, because the anagram indicator here is the 3 words off on travels. Now the reason this is tricky is that actually the word off or the word travels on their own would have been enough. But of course that would have made the surface slightly worse. So this used to set rally off could have been a perfectly good clue here. But adding the on travels part of it is, it's extra deception on the part of the setter. So let's look at 16 down. We've got 2 left. We're doing all right here. So stash stuff in cellar above a street. Salt away. Salt cellar, don't you? Salt away must be to stash. It's not a phrase I'm very familiar with. But stuff in cellar must be salt. S blank L blank. Above a street, away. Salt away. Oh, and this one must be snow plough now. Well, that's certainly a move to stop a slide when you're skiing. And interference, I guess, is snow. If you had interference on your television, you described the screen as having snow. So fail is to fail to plough. Fail. I think it must be. I mean, it must be snow plough. Let's submit that, and I'll check the wordplay where plough is coming from there. Yeah, we got it right. Okay, let's have a look at the dictionary. 1 second. Right, here's my electronic dictionary. I've typed in the word plough here. Now, if we look here, to plough is to fail in a subject, and it's an old infinitive word. To fail in. In fact, it seems to only be meaning fail as a sort of old meaning of the word. Quite unusual to see this accepted, actually. In the listener crossword now, there would need to be some indication, I believe, that it was an old word. But anyway, that is a very, very clever Times crossword. There was so much to admire about this. The tries in the front row for Australian pack. World class cryptic crossword clue, as I said before. So I hope this was a good run through. I hope you enjoyed it. Do leave some feedback in the comments. Let us know if you want to see more of this sort of thing, and we'll be back soon with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.